What up, everyone? So back with a new type of video, a new segment I'm calling Things to Think About. Things that are not a major thing, but enough to where I didn't want to just mention in another video. It should have its own video because it's something to think about. These are all going to be really short segments. It's just questions that I pose or things that you literally just should think about that you might not have. And that's the simplest I can put it. So this time we're going to be talking about CDs and DVDs. Should you sell your old CDs and DVDs? And, that may be an easy answer for some people, but some people have probably never thought about it. The short answer to that is no. And we're going to talk about exactly why you should take some time to think about it and actually consider the facts. So, starting off with CDs. I know a lot of people have just sold their old CDs, given them away, thrown them away, because it's no big deal. They're not really worth anything. But you may want to think about that if you still have them and are going to toss them out. Now, keep in mind that when I pose the question, should you sell them, this is only for people that have the option. Obviously, if you're getting evicted from your house and moving into a studio apartment, you don't have space, you have to get rid of them, absolutely get rid of them. That's understandable. This is only for people if you already have them, you already have the space, and you're just thinking about getting rid of them. Maybe hold on a second and think about this. So, different forms of media that are outdated are still collectible to this day. Like vinyl, for example. That's something that's very collectible. People still collect vinyl to this day. Most bands, when they release singles, they don't even put them on CD anymore. Some do, but not all of them. But everyone still releases vinyl. And that's because it's become incredibly collectible. And the reason for that is, if you didn't know, is that the progression of audio media started out with vinyl, and then I think moved to 8-track, and then cassette, then CDs, and now digital. So when it made that first jump, people kept their vinyl around because the quality was so much better. Even to this day, people will still argue that the quality on vinyl records is better than anything digital we have. And it technically, they're right, but at this point in life, it really doesn't matter. It would take a very trained ear to tell the difference between vinyl and digital. And honestly, even those people with the trained ear, you can only tell with a certain sound system that most people don't have anyway. The point I'm trying to make is people kept it around because it held something of value. It had something that no other form of media had, and that was the quality of it. So that is what made people latch onto that. Now, cassette tapes, 8-tracks, really didn't have anything special about it, and that's why they kind of went out of style, and they're still to this day pretty much worth nothing, with some few exceptions. And now going on to CDs, there is something that CDs have that none of these other forms of media have, even going back to vinyl, and that is the inserts. I should have pulled one out now that I think about it. I should have had one ready. Boom! Happen to have one right here. So the inserts to the CDs, I just broke that. Cool. The inserts to the CDs is something you don't get anywhere else. If I can get this fucking thing out. Ta-da! This little booklet right here. So this really doesn't seem like it's something important, but it will be at a different point because this is something that nothing else has. The vinyl records don't have that. The cassettes, for the most part, don't have that. They kind of did, and digital obviously doesn't. The album cover itself, when you buy a digital song or album, it has that, but all the stuff on the inside, it doesn't. Now, for the most part, they're pretty worthless because there's nothing special in there. But some bands actually do put special things in there, lyrics and things like that you can't find anywhere else. So that's something that this form of media has that no other form of media has. So that's something that it makes it special, and it's going to gain value from that. So you may be asking at this point, well, if it's so special, why isn't it worth anything now? Some of them are. But for the most part, yes, CDs are pretty much worthless, and the reason for that is they made so fucking many. So many that it's completely flooded the market, so of course they have no value. If you think about it, bands that have gone like platinum, triple platinum, diamond, if they went that back in the 90s, that's 10 million copies they sold. That means they made 10 million of that CD and sold 10 million. So there are 10 million out there that exist. So yeah, if there's 10 million of anything, it's going to be pretty worthless. So why is it going to gain value? It's because people are getting rid of them left and right. You honestly can't give away CDs this day because no one really has anything to do with them. You honestly can put them, convert them into digital and put them on your phone, but most people aren't willing to take the time to do that. So Most people are just kind of tossing them out because they don't want to deal with it, which is good if you're a collector. That's how something gains its value. So if you think back to like toys of the 80s and 90s, they made tons of those, and video games that are now gaining value. It's only because, and comic books from back in the day, like comic books from the 20s and 30s, they are worth so much because they printed lots of them, but people tossed them out. People used them as tissue paper because they were so worthless. And action figures, too, of the 80s and 90s, like we played with them. That's what we did. No one kept them in the box, so that's why they're so valuable. They made millions of them, literally, but how many of us kids can honestly think back and think that, oh yeah, I kept all my action figures in the box and didn't play with any of them? Some may have. I did for a few of them, but most of them I played with them and they lost value. So the few people that held on to them, they increased in value significantly. Same with the comic books. So many got destroyed that it increased in value significantly. Same thing with these CDs. People are destroying them left and right. People are tossing them out. So some of these older ones that have a short run or a short print and have special edition things that are in that booklet, that's going to be the only place you can find that, and that is going to make it increase in value. Now, the real question is, how much will it increase in value and when? That's something I don't have the answer to. That all depends on other people. So I wish I could give you some hard numbers, but estimating the future is never going to be exact, but I can guarantee you they will go up in value. How much? Tough to say. When it'll happen? Tough to say. Will it go up in value? Absolutely. You can take my word for that. They will increase in value. So if you're in the situation where you have space for your CDs, you've had space this whole time, you just don't want them anymore, so you might just toss them out. Hang on a second. Like, you might, if you have the space, why not just keep them there on the off chance that one of them in there is worth something valuable? I know plenty of people that have done that with their video games. As you can see on my wall over here, I got some Nintendo games, and right here too lined up. One's graded by Wata. Nintendo games that were worth pretty much nothing for so long. Now people are going up in their attic from when they were kids and opening up boxes with old Nintendo games in there. And now they're worth a shitload. They are worth so much money now, it's ridiculous. And I have a feeling a similar thing's going to happen with CDs. Not exactly like Nintendo, where all of them are going to gain value in some way. I don't think that'll be the case, but I do think some of them will become significantly rare and will pop up in value. So on the off chance that is one of the things you have, why not hang on to them? Why not keep them around? Because something like that is very, very likely to happen. So that's my advice on CDs. Now going on to DVDs. A similar situation in the sense that I feel you should hold on to them if you have this space, but for different reasons than CDs. I'm going to put this away, because it's bugging me. Oh, fuck you. Get out of here. So, DVDs. One thing I've noticed recently, there's a term called lost media. And what that is something that was created, whether it be music, pictures, movies, shows, whatever it is, if nothing left of it exists. So I watched this YouTube channel called Defunctland. Fantastic channel, by the way. If you haven't checked it out, go, please do. He does a segment called Defunct TV, and basically what it is, it talks about old TV shows that have been canceled and gives the history of them. And I hear that term lost media all the time, because what happens is this show runs on Disney or whatever like that, and the TV companies don't keep a record of them. Like, they didn't have hard drives back then, so they didn't want to keep physical copies of all these hundreds of episodes of a TV show, so they tossed them out. And they printed a few on VHS and DVD, but like most people, once they outgrow it, they toss it out. So it gets to the point where no one kept a copy of whatever that thing is, and it's considered lost, as in you cannot see it anywhere. You cannot look it up on the internet, you can't buy a copy of it, and the TV company kept no record of it. So these things are now lost and can literally never be seen again, which is so sad, until someone finally steps forward and says, oh, I happen to have a copy of that. So things like that are becoming rare all of a sudden because you can't find them anywhere else, and now people are going back to the nostalgia of their childhood and saying, man, I remember that show, I wish I could go back and watch it. Oh wait, it's been lost to time and no one can view it. That, and another example of lost media, I guess you call it, is, as you've noticed in recent culture, the term I think is eraser culture, where anything inappropriate or anything even relating to something inappropriate from history is just swept under the rug and pretended like it never happened. And I've noticed that recently with TV shows. I'll give you an example. The Simpsons. I've always had the first seasons, season 1, 2, and 3. I didn't buy them. My dad was throwing them out, so I'm like, oh, don't throw it, I'll keep it. And I've literally never watched it. And then I was about to throw it out because Disney Plus was announced, and they said they have every episode of Simpsons ever, and they're always going to have it. So I'm like, cool, I really don't need to keep these DVDs. I'm not even going to try selling them because who gives a shit? I'm just going to toss them out. Like, why not? Then I watched the show, first couple seasons on Disney Plus, and noticed that some things were missing. One of my favorite episodes was the episode with Michael Jackson, where Bart wrote that birthday song for Lisa. The super catchy song. Like, I remember that all the way back to when I was a kid. One of my favorite episodes, and it wasn't on there. And I couldn't figure it out. Like, well, did they forget it? Like, is it in the season I'm not thinking of? Looked it up, and apparently they took it down because it had Michael Jackson in it. Which is so stupid, by the way. That's just the fact that he was in it. Like, first of all, Jackson was never actually convicted of anything. It was just accusations. And two, it's not like these fucking little kids on the TV show. Like, who gives a shit? He's just on there. He's not doing anything inappropriate. But Disney, the mere mention of his name, found it so inappropriate that there's just this mild association with it that they took the episode down, and it's going to stay down. Now, the problem with that is it's not showing anywhere now. It's not. You can't see it on Disney Plus, and they've taken it off the air. So the only way you can watch that episode is that DVD. Now, there are some ways you can watch it online, but Disney's pretty good about keeping up with that kind of stuff, and it's only a matter of time before it's all taken down. So you may be able to go now and go onto some underground websites and watch it, but support for those is eventually going to stop, and that will be lost as well. So the only way you'll be able to view it is from that DVD. And now that DVD is worth a little bit more because people want to watch that episode. And another situation that I noticed was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. One of my favorite shows, same thing. They've taken down like 5 or 6 episodes because Mac does blackface in a couple of them. So there's all these situations of things that, some are very inappropriate and needed to be taken down, but things that aren't really inappropriate, they just happen to be associated with something and are still taken down for the mere mention of it. So all these things are increasing in value because you can't find that anywhere else. Now, keep in mind, they haven't increased in value crazy amounts yet because there are still a lot of DVDs out there that exist. But given an amount of time, they'll be lost or thrown away or destroyed just like I was about to do, and that'll bring up the price over time. Same thing with CDs. There's no guaranteed amount. And also the thing that's lost media, it potentially can go up in value significantly, but it's only going to do so if there's someone that's looking for that. So if it's a TV show nobody wanted to watch, then nobody's going to be searching for it. But if it's something popular like The Simpsons, it's only a matter of time before the amount of those DVDs goes down, and you're only going to have one way to watch it, so that will increase the value overall. So, those are some things to think about. Those are some things that I want you to think about before you go selling or throwing anything away. At the end of the day, it's all about fun, and you don't have to listen to what I say anyway, but these are just some tips that I wanted to throw out there and give you. So that's pretty much the summation of this subject. It's going to be short little things like that, quick little things to think about you may or may not have considered. So let me know your experiences on that. Have you any DVDs or CDs that have increased in value significantly? Do you have anything that's worth a lot? Did you throw all yours out? Tell me some stories. Let's hear about it in the comments. Also, I'm going to be starting giveaways again, so look forward to that. I'll probably be doing it on this video, but I'll post a separate video on the rules of the giveaway right after this one. So, that's things to think about. Should you throw away your CDs and DVDs? Answer is no, but those are some reasons why. If you have any more reasons, let me know in the comments. Other than that, see you next week on the next video. Thanks for watching and supporting. Love you all. Peace.